What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ.
And your girl, Dani.
And this is another episode of Lovers Quarrel.
Don't ask me what number it is because I don't remember. Somewhere in the 40 or 50 range.
Sure, why not? Let's roll the dice.
Okay. I'm glad you, queued me up because I didn't know we were actually starting. But glad to be here. You're not Mr. New Cool this week?
I forgot to say it.
You did?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't say what I had to say.
So, listen.
Following your lead.
Sometimes, listen, I can always run the point.
Can you now?
Yeah. Listen, even the best point guard has a turnover. So
are you the best point guard that we're speaking of?
I'm just saying, even the best point
analogy
guard has a turnover. Yeah. I can run the point.
How many turnovers do you have? Just this one?
As of right now, yeah.
Just one in all the years I've known you. One turnover.
We're talking about in the recording.
Okay.
You mean in life? I have a lot of turnovers.
You do. You have plenty of them.
But I have my assist is ridiculous. Top 2, and I'm not number 2.
I can appreciate your blind confidence. So,
whatever turnovers have I had? I gave you Tatum.
Now.
I gave you Tatum.
Listen here.
So that was like one of the best assists out there.
Listen here. That's like you know what giving your version of giving me Tatum is. It's like somebody giving me I opened up a store, and you're like the first dollar bill I get to my profits.
I don't understand that.
Meaning, did you contribute to my store? Yes, but on the grand scale of things, who did more of the work? Me.
That's just because that's the way life is.
Okay, then.
But if I pass the ball to you and you dunk it, yeah, you did more work, but you wouldn't have got that dunk without me. So give me my assist.
5%, and I'll take the other 95%.
I don't think that's how science works.
That's not how science works, but that's how I work.
Oh, okay.
Your contribution was
You're right.
5%.
But we're also talking about someone who says a bird isn't a pigeon. So
no, I said I'm not a bird.
But you call yourself a pigeon.
I say I'm a permanently exhausted pigeon.
Which is a bird.
But I am not a bird.
Listen, we're all talking about semantics.
Semantics,
whatever. Semantics. You say tomato, I say tomato.
No, that's the thing is that both of those are a pronunciation of the word tomato. Semantics is not a word.
All right, well, another turnover for me. I'm going to pick it up.
That's 2 in less than a minute. I
don't think it's less than a minute.
I would bench you at this point.
That's why you would never be a coach.
You know what? But that's
you can never be a coach.
Who said I want to?
You just said you would bench me, so that's what I'm saying. You can't be a coach.
2 turnovers in a minute.
2, yeah, it happens. It happens.
You would know from personal experience. We just watched it.
Listen, even the best.
I think all these sports analogies are good because the person we have on,
I think it's perfect.
Is a sports aficionado.
Oh goodness,
yes.
am I?
That's the voice of our guest, who we're going to, of course, introduce this lovely lady in a moment. But as always, we gotta kind of get on this elevator, ride. Well, I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna be going. TJ's gonna be riding the elevator.
I'm gonna go down
to the bench.
Can I start it off? I want to be negative, so
go ahead. Excuse me. Going down.
So everyone who knows me knows I think social media is the devil.
Oh my god.
And in the last week, they was talking about the so Kim Porter passed away. We talked about that in the last episode. And people were posting TMZ posted part of Diddy's speech, and people were posting they had fireworks, and I'm just
Nene.
This stuff is this is private stuff, and we're just people just want it, they yearning for it, and that's so sad. That's supposed to be a private moment, and that shouldn't be that shouldn't be out there, and the fact that it is just disheartening. What?
Okay. And go ahead, continue.
I think Dani was telling me to silence my phone, but my phone's always on silent, so thanks for messing up my elevator. But that's where I was going with it. I just wish we had more privacy. I wish there was a way to kind of filter those things. When people post certain things, it should go through a filter. This is sensitive. This shouldn't go through, because it's ridiculous that that stuff is out there. Someone's giving a eulogy and that's out there. That shouldn't be out there.
I definitely agree, because if they wanted it to, they would have had, they would have broadcast it, or like Aretha's funeral. Mm-hmm. Like, they would have invited people, the public, to be a part of it, but it was a private thing. But I guess, like, how do you censor millions of people at the same time? And how do you determine or decide what is public and what should be private? Because I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I 100% agree with you. But that's going to be the question that's raised.
I think funerals. I think something like funerals, deaths shouldn't be there. And I understand you have freedom of speech and all the other stuff. But this is something that's going to be on the internet forever. Mm-hmm. And I just don't. I just don't think that's stuff that should be out there. Or if it does go out there, it should be like Diddy had to okay it to go out there. Like, there should just be something else. Like, they have kids, you know what I mean? Like,
small children,
so they go online and they see that their mother's funeral is posted all online, and their father's eulogy is all online. Like, to me, I just feel like that's a daily reminder that they shouldn't have to see. Like,
I understand. I think in those situations, sometimes the best thing to do is to, like, let the people closest to the person who's passed away, let them kind of, like, set the tone. Like, if they're posting everything, if that's the case, not even saying that you have the same right, but at least that way you could say you have a better leg to stand on and be like, okay, like, if Diddy posted something, or her children, or something like that, or her mother, or her whoever, and then you start to say, like, okay, well then, if I saw my good friend and we saw each other, because people, now I will say this, people
I'm gonna say yeah and no with that.
People do that sometimes, though. We're like,
but
if I haven't seen Courtney in a long time, and unfortunately, like, this person's passed and brought us together, and I post a picture of she and I, not of the service or anything like that, but like that's
to me, that's fine. That's showing, like, you're remembering them. Okay. I'm talking about the personal things. Certain personal things just doesn't need to be posted. Mm-hmm. And then even when they do post personal things, like Aisha Curry posted something with her and her daughter.
Oh yeah.
And somebody commented about the daughter's hair, and it's just like, this is why nothing should be on there, because people are just like nasty. Are evil. Yeah. Like, this is a little girl. This is a candid moment that they were having fun, and she liked it, and she wanted to introduce people into her world, and somebody takes it for granted, because everybody wants to be first, and everybody wants to, try to get a response. Like, that's what it's about. How can I get a response? And to me, it's just,
I agree.
It's terrible.
I definitely agree, because I think about that too, and it's just like, it's the downside of celebrity, because, like, on one hand, like, I would never really want to be famous. I wouldn't mind the wealth that comes along with a lot of these people, but, like, I've posted clips of Tatum, like, we all just, like, chilling out Saturday morning in the bed, her hair's all over the place, because as much as I try to get that girl to sleep in a bonnet, like, she's not even 2, so it's not going to really work, and she looks crazy. Like, we all look crazy in the morning, but it's like, if I had 2,000 people trying to tell me, oh, you need to do that baby's hair, bitch, it is 7:30 in the morning. Like, is your hair done on 7:30 on a Saturday morning? But I think the fuck not.
I think people put a special emphasis on celebrities, and
of course,
they forget that they're humans. Like, they're just like us. They just happen to have a job or a skill that affords them the luxury to be a part of, like, an elite class or a different class, a different area. But we're all human, so they sleep just like you sleep. Like,
yep, they do the same things as us.
That's it. That's my only negatives for this week. We can go up now.
Yes, because finally, for change, we are going up, and it has to do with me.
Yeah, you mean finally for yourself.
Me?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Why are you being shady?
I'm just... Because we went up last week. I went up last week, I feel like.
Yeah, but I very rarely go up.
I know, so I just want to emphasize that it's for you. That's it.
It came off a little shady. I'm just all I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
can't win.
You can't.
Going up.
Two turnover, TJ. So my elevator talk is, y'all, I'm not at the finish line. I could be crying on episode 2-3 weeks from now, but I'm not going to put it in the universe. But I at least have submitted the first half of my final portfolio for grad school. if I pass, y'all.
Nah, see, you
Okay.
can't talk like that negative.
When I pass.
There you go.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. Then I'll be one step closer to graduation. If everything goes well this half, then I just have the second half to do in the spring, which is, everybody's telling me, is arguably the harder half. But I can at least say I did the best I could with the time I had, with all the other things I have going on in my life. And I submitted it, and it's like, if anything, I'm going to ride this wave where at least it's not on my damn plate. Like, between now and when I get my score back, then I'm going to just, like, try to relax as much as possible, not let the nerves get me of, like, waiting for my score, because it's literally, like, super strict. Like, 8.5 is the perfect score for this, like, rating system that they have. You can't get anything less than a 7.5 to pass. So it's just, like, 1 point, half a point, my bad, can be the difference. But I'm going to claim it. I poured my heart and soul into it, and at least I can say I am freaking done, so I don't have to think about it at this point much longer. And but yeah, that's kind of like where I wanted to go with our elevator talk. I was going to go down at first and complain about my hair, but I'm not going to, because it's dry, it's winter.
Honestly,
it's dry season.
I'm feeling it.
And yeah, this is my first winter since I cut my hair off, like, so it's my first full winter, I should say. So it's a new frontier for me, and I'm not loving it, but I'll deal with it.
No, I feel that right
now. You left me, girl, with this Team Natural business. But Courtney, do you have anything on your mind, your spirit, that you want to go up or down or complain about? Because you can see we talk about any and everything, from school to funerals.
Honestly, I'll say I'm going up.
Cool.
My whole family came to Maryland this past week for Thanksgiving. My uncle passed back in August, and we all got together for that. Thank you. But, it was a sad time.
Yeah.
And my family, growing up, the Smith side of my family always did Thanksgiving together. We would alternate year to year from whose house it was at. One year it'd be at my house, one year it'd be at my uncle's, one year it'd be at my grandma's, and it would alternate. But the past 2 years, people just had jobs and had children and had lives, and we didn't get together for Thanksgiving the past 2 years. But in August, we all sat down. We were like, no, like, we're getting together. Like, this is what we need to do. We have to get this tradition back again. We know that we love each other, and that's when we're at our happiest, when we're all together. And honestly, the weekend was amazing. Like, it was great. It was just, everybody was just so happy, so full of life, so fun. We had houses filled with children laughing and running around, and it was just a great time with my grandma and my cousins, and just turning up the whole weekend, playing games. And I'm really glad that we were able to put aside some time to really spend time with each other, because it's important.
It's really definitely important.
I agree.
That was dope.
It was. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I really thought that you're going down. I thought you were, when you talk about social media being the devil, I thought you were going to bring up Dwight Howard.
Oh, I thought you were too, for real.
That's what I was doing. That's why I was giving the but
no, I don't. I wouldn't go down for that.
There's a lot of layers with that.
The only thing I would go down with it is just the transphobia, the homophobic area about it. People making jokes of it, and the gay person being threatened, or but this is also and then with it is like, this is the same person who said somebody else, and it didn't come out as true, so now it's kind of like
to believe.
Yeah, and I think that's a down part about it. I mean, Dwight Howard hasn't said anything, so it's like,
I don't think he will.
I mean,
if
I
was
wouldn't.
him, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
one way or the other, it's
I just think it's
problematic on a lot of different sides.
Yes,
it's just unfortunate, and it just shows where we're at as people in a society, and I just think we have to grow up. What that man does in his private life is his private life. Yeah. Why is this even newsworthy? But it's newsworthy because it's social media, and he's a elite figure. So now it's like, Yeah,
I get it. I mean, it has to happen over generations. Like, it's never going to happen overnight where we start to remove the stigma and the homophobia, transphobia that exists, and then is like the hyper masculinity that exists within the sports industry. Like, that's why it's people can't reconcile the two. Like, oh, you can't be this large man in sports and like be gay or be bi or be whatever, like be anywhere on the spectrum besides like a staunch heterosexual man.
But to think that there aren't gay people who are athletes,
right?
It's naive.
It's
but people choose to think that.
No, I understand that, but we choose to think that because it's what society has told us to think, and that's the Jaron Collins. That's his name, right? NBA player. I think it's Jaron.
Oh,
Collins.
yeah.
It's twins.
Yes, there's twins.
I believe it's Jaron Collins, but he came out as gay, and then when he got signed, he had like that highest selling jersey for that time, and his number was for Matthew Shepard.
Yeah.
That's his name, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that we are more accepting to it, but I just think that it shouldn't be getting the press that it's getting just because it's Dwight Howard.
Yeah. I mean, people love
to be messy.
gossip.
That's it, mess.
Yeah,
and it's
especially when it's not yours.
And even if he was gay, now he would never want to come out because and then that's that. I go somewhere else. Like if he kills himself because of this, then people are going to be like, "Oh my God, it's an issue." Like it's so many layers to it, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think too, just to say this, like, on one hand, like nobody should be publicly outing somebody else, but and then on the flip side though, I mean, and again, we don't know all the truth to either side of this, but for argument's sake, it's all true. Nobody should be like having their circle, their squad, their entourage, their pastor threatening people either because they're living their truth or whatever. It's just like you said, like it's messy all the way around, and it's what it really is too. It's like it's always easier to like sit back and watch somebody else's like life burn down to the ground, and when it comes to celebrity, like I know sometimes we like will bash them or whatever, but it's like it's really easy to talk shit about somebody you have no clue who they are really in real life. And sometimes on one hand, like when we'll talk about people on here, and I'll be like, well, at the end of the day, like they got more money than me, so they're both still filthy rich, even when they have issues amongst themselves. But I think
being rich doesn't necessarily fix anything.
No, I'm not saying it does.
So I'm just
I agree. It doesn't fix anything, but I'm saying it's just like it helps kind of take the emotion out of it. Like it's so quick to pass judgments and make jokes and do all stuff like that when these people are people that you do not know.
Yeah.
And because TJ and I, we know people who are famous and on a more personal level. And for me, when I hear things about that person, I receive it a little differently
100%.
Than somebody I have no idea who they are.
But see, that's the biggest thing. People have to understand. Dwight Howard has kids. He has a family, and many. You are shady.
I don't think you caught that. So.
And this stuff affects people in different ways, and that's why that's my biggest thing with it, and that's why I'm like it's the fucking devil. This shit is so wicked. How people are you have kids who kill themselves over social media because it's a constant reminder and listen, as a society we got to do something. That's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
So
well, here's hoping. With that being said though, let's go jump right into our relationship tip of the week.
Go ahead.
Do you have a tip, or are you forfeiting again this week?
I didn't forfeit last week.
You forfeited like in the last 2 episodes. You definitely forfeited.
I might have. I don't know.
You conceded.
No, I have a tip.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it's terrible.
That's crazy to me.
So, all right.
I'm gonna go first because
I'm sorry.
I'm Dani. All this other stuff. My tip is it's really simple.
No duh.
As a couple,
it's always simple.
You should do a journal together. Why are you rolling your eyes?
You don't even like to write.
I don't mind. How do you figure? I write all the time.
What? What do you write all the time? Emails?
No, I write notes to myself all the time.
I'm not a part of said notes. Notes? Do you like a journal entry? Like,
On
dear
my
diary.
phone. Yeah, I have my own personal.
Let me see a passage.
No, get out of here.
Let me read-
Anyway,
Just
see,
let me read the pages of your diary.
you're a terrible person. And see, this is what I go through, everybody. I just want y'all to see. I want y'all to hear what I go through all the time.
You don't go through anything.
I do. I'm coming up with stuff that, we don't do together, but it's something that we could
So
do.
you go buy a journal and we'll start page 1 together.
I will. I definitely will.
What we gonna talk about?
I don't know. You have a journal and you can write however you feel or whatever you want your partner to know, and it's another way to communicate.
Do we write it together? Or do
Nah.
I get the
You can-
odd
you
number
can do-
pages and you get the even number pages?
You could do either or. As a couple, you would choose that.
Okay.
You're an asshole. Go ahead. Let's hear this immaculate tip.
Oh god. Okay. It's okay. Even if that tip doesn't work for us, it could work for somebody else. So I'm not gonna tip shame you. Okay.
You are tip shaming.
Not tip shame.
And it could definitely work for us. It's just I'll be writing.
But you can't read my handwriting.
I'll be writing.
I have to write in print because I write like cursive.
I'll be writing, and I'll have like a book, and you're not gonna have no responses. So
First of all, your handwriting is atrocious.
that's crazy.
Can we type it?
I was just about to say that might be the best option.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do it with you.
Oh, it could be a Google Doc.
Yes, we could do a Google
You
share.
lost your opportunity. You're a rude individual,
I'm sorry, baby.
and you're a tip shamer.
Not a tip shame.
Okay, well, my tip of the week is to let life imitate art sometimes.
What?
First,
Sorry, in my feelings.
okay, that's fine. You're welcome to be in your feelings.
Go ahead.
So let life imitate art sometimes. So, although in no way, shape, or form are relationships of any type, marriage, friendships, kinships, like you see in the movies, there's something to be said sometimes to letting art, like the movies or a book you read or a TV show that you watch, kind of, if in the very least, inspire you to do better in some way, get an idea for like a unique date or how to, sometimes, just, or even like a way to approach a situation. Because if you think about it, the people who write these shows and these movies and stuff like that, they often draw from experience and obviously add a little flair to it too to make it work and make it palatable for us. But at the end of the day, they're still talking to like experiences, but it's just in a very like pretty version. So I think sometimes there's nothing wrong with using art to find inspiration of how to like spice things up in your life, to just do something different, because or to do something better. I want to say it doesn't always have to be different, because I think sometimes that might be all we have to go off of, and we consume enough different types of mediums of like television, social media, whatever. So it might be a nice way to kind of like.
Do you have an example?
Sure. So okay, I'll give you two. Right. So on the relationship side, on the vanilla side of things, Randall and Beth on This Is Us. Do you watch This Is Us?
I don't. I have I'm gonna binge watch it when it's done, so I can cry every episode.
Oh, the first 2 seasons are gonna take you out, girl.
Yeah.
Just get your tissues ready.
Who cried? Never mind. Go ahead.
I cried.
I mean, you're a crybaby.
Everyone I
Everybody
know that watches
cries.
that show cries.
TJ watches it. He doesn't cry, but he does think some stuff is sad. He's just not a crier.
Yeah, it's just nothing to cry about.
Yeah.
It's life.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
when Jack died,
I wasn't crying.
I cried.
Yeah, you did. I mean, but you cried like you said. The whole first 2 seasons.
We digressed. The point I'm trying to make though is Randall and Beth, right? They're one of the couples on the show. They are arguably like some of the most like a very healthy relationship, a healthy marriage. They communicate, they celebrate each other, they still fight, they don't always see eye to eye. So a lot of people see them as like relationship goals. So that could be like an example of trying to let art imitate life, where like you're saying, you know what, like they have a thing where even at night and they lay in bed, if they have anything that they can like a brutal honest moment where like I can't get mad, this person's gonna like be brutally honest, and not to like give too much spoilers, but like one time Beth was being honest with Randall and she was like, you gonna let like your crackhead daddy blah blah blah, like, and he had to receive it, right? So that could be something that you could do to help, like, kind of give this, like, there's going to be no consequences for when you, in this box, this window of time that you say what you got to say to me. And on the, not vanilla side, on the more sexy side of things, I mean, so what was on before it came over, it was 50 Shades Freed or whatever. If that's what you want to try, go for it too. Let art imitate life. Life imitate art sometimes, excuse me. So that is my tip, which is thought out, nuanced, with examples, citations.
How can you say that my tip wasn't thought out?
I'm not saying your tip wasn't thought
That's
out.
what I let you emphasize.
I was saying my tip was. I'm not talking about what your tip isn't. I'm talking about what my tip
You
was.
emphasized it, but it's okay.
I mean,
brutally honest moment, right? Because we're gonna let art imitate life, right?
Life imitate art.
Whatever. You had a nice tip. See?
Oh, thank you.
Unlike you, I don't have to put you down.
I wasn't putting you down.
I'm beginning to believe that you're a bully in real life.
I'm not a bully.
That's what I'm beginning to believe. Any chance you get to, come at me, you do.
You are full of it.
And with that, folks, I yield. And we're going to go to a break. Now, don't try to jump into my...
You got it.
We'll go to a break, and we'll come back with our special guest.
Write it down.
And then...
In your journal.
Oh, Shirley. All right, y'all.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gainz Load and Lock grips by Gainz Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And you too can embrace the process by using our code LOVERS10 at GainSportsGear.com. That's Gainz with a Z, Gainz. And now, back to the show.
Alrighty, and we are back. And now it's time for you to have a name to that lovely voice that you've been hearing.
Even though you already said her name, but go ahead.
Okay, but like a formal name.
Yeah, I'm just.
Can I do my job?
My fault.
Stay over there.
You're right.
Thank you.
That's why we pay you the big bucks.
Lies. Okay, so here today we have with us Courtney Smith, and she is a fellow Towson alum.
Yes.
Go Tigers. A member of the Lambda Beta chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yes.
And she has, you have big news, but I'm just going to say it anyway. So she has just got a job working for ESPN. Yes, the ESPN in Bristol, right?
Yes.
Yes, as a production assistant.
Yes.
So exciting stuff. She's moving in like what? You said?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So thank you for giving you even a smidgen of your time. A self-proclaimed Panthers fan.
Yes, I am.
And host of Down to the Wire on YouTube, and then another co-host on the Girls Room podcast.
Yes.
So a very busy bee over here.
Yes.
Doing her thing. And welcome, Courtney.
Thank you, Dani.
Yeah.
Thank you, TJ, for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you, girl. So, just to kind of get things warmed up. Question number 1.
Okay.
How do you feel about Cam Newton's Instagram posts? Because I hate them. I don't follow him when I come across them. I wish I had a dislike button.
At first I thought he was illiterate. I won't lie, because I was like, "What are these like wingdings? What is this? What is this font?"
I didn't say that. I
said he types in wingdings.
Yeah, like how do you even get that font? But I guess it's a keyboard. But I don't know. But they are hard to read. But he is very inspirational. Like, he posts things to try and inspire people.
Does he?
He does.
I don't read them. My eyes just glaze over. The teacher in me just tunes
No,
out.
it really takes a second to really decipher what he's trying to say.
Maybe that's the goal. He wants you to really read it.
I think that might be
So
it.
you'd have to internalize it. But I thought that would be a nice little warm up, icebreaker question.
No, I appreciate it.
Because I hate them. I'm not doing this. I don't. Nothing.
Is football your favorite sport?
Football is my favorite sport.
Do you have a secondary sport?
I like basketball.
Okay. You have a favorite basketball team?
So,
You're like a Golden State fan.
No, I don't like Golden State. In my heart, in my soul, I support the Wizards, but I don't even know why I do that. So now I'm like between the Pistons and I'm between the Lakers. I'm really like riding with the Lakers right now. Like that's who I'm with. But like in the back, like in my heart, I want the Wizards to do well.
You know, that's inspirational.
Thank you.
So, Wizards for basketball, but football's Carolina. And that's...
Because it's close to Georgia?
Is that because... Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
Family.
So my family is Dallas Cowboys fans. My parents, born and raised, my basement is Cowboy blue in my house. As long as I can remember, everything's been Cowboys. I was a Cowboys fan until I was about like 12, 13. And I was like, I want a new team. And the Panthers were my favorite colors.
I do like the colors.
I've stuck with them ever since.
Got you.
Fair enough. Favorite colors is always important.
Yes.
Like personally, so I am by no means like a sports like buff or anything like that. So like even when the Super Bowl comes around, I tend to root for. Okay, if the Patriots are playing, I root against the Patriots.
Okay.
But I root for the team that has the better looking uniform. In my opinion,
I get that
because I feel like if you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, you play good.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely feel that.
Like, didn't the Seahawks win a couple years ago?
Yeah,
they have,
and their uniforms were nice.
Fire
yeah,
as fuck.
They also lost.
We're talking about when they won, though.
I'm just saying.
I'm just talking about who I root for. I'm just saying my theory still holds up. So, period. Bye.
That works.
Thank you.
What? So you clearly have a passion for sports.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Honestly, my dad.
Okay.
So like growing up, I'm the middle child, and I self-proclaimed I have the middle child syndrome. I'll claim it any day. And I like my older sister is just like my dad. They're very similar people, so they always got along. And then my younger sister, that's his baby, so like he always gonna favor her because that's his baby. So I was always trying to find my way to fit in, and sports was that way for me. Okay, sports is how we can bond. Like football season, even when I was in college, I talked to this man every day about something, whether the Cowboys were losing, whether the Panthers were winning. We like to make bets. Like I actually just beat him. We had a bet on the Falcons Saints game. He was pulling for the Falcons, I was pulling for the Saints, and he gave me $10. So like that's what me and him do. So my love for sports comes from just wanting to have a real relationship, finding a way to bond with my dad.
Got it.
Did you play sports in high school?
No, I'm very unathletic.
Really?
I cheered and I danced, but like
that's a sport
I'm slow.
To some people.
I'm not very coordinated.
Cheerleading is a sport.
That's what I said.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you like giving me like a glance, like
I didn't.
maybe.
I
Okay, maybe I might be. Maybe
Yeah,
I
you are.
apologize.
Like, say it again.
No,
Say it again. Come on.
they run this tape back and you'll
You're
hear
a
it.
terrible person, yeah.
Okay,
You're a sore loser.
I'm not.
You are.
I said what I
Let
said.
her be great.
Thank you. I said what I said. That's why we're recording this, so that way you can run that back. You
You're
can
a
loop
loser.
the apology if you want.
You're a sore loser. It's good.
I'm not.
It's all good.
Point being though, so I think that's really dope though, because that's definitely like important to sometimes have things that you can kind of like connect with like a parent or a close adult, whomever, with like, so like me and my dad, my father played no sports. He was not athletic at all. So like, but our thing was like science fiction, like all things. So like we watched Star Trek together. Like that was like our bag. And my mom was like the sports buff. So she was kind of watching football by herself on Sundays, but we got along, or we had our connection in other ways. So that's cool though. So obviously this love of sports, this passion for it has also like manifested itself in other ways in your life at this point. So you have Down to the Wire.
Yes.
So can you explain to our listeners a little bit about what Down to the Wire is and like what prompted you to like actually do it?
Yes. So Down to the Wire is the YouTube show that my friend Chanel and I came up with. She went to Morgan. She's Delta as well. Love her. We had a mutual friend named Al. He's BA actually. And he was like, you know what? Like she likes sports and you like sports and she wants to be a broadcaster and you want to be a broadcaster. Maybe you guys should just put it together. And we loafed for a while. We linked and like just didn't ever do anything. We had a great idea. We had a name. We had what we wanted the show to be about. and then loafed for like a year. And then going into 2018, I really sat down with myself and like, you know, I made New Year's resolutions, but it was more of just like a goal. Like this wasn't even a resolution for me, because resolutions, I feel like, are things that people don't ever really like stick with. But I was like, my goal is to finally get this show off the ground. So I started putting aside money so I could buy the equipment. So by February, and I had like a deadline, by the end of February, I had bought a camera, I bought lights, a green screen, the whole 9, like microphones, and I was like, I'm doing this. I was already part of TGR, so I kind of got the workflow a little bit of how a show works. Granted, that one was different because it wasn't like a YouTube channel, but I was like, I'm really gonna I'm gonna get this one off the ground. And I met back up with Chanel, and I was like, look, man, I bought all the stuff. All we gotta do is do it. And she was like, you know what? Let's do it. And we both really like, we kind of set a goal of how we wanted the show to be and what we wanted it, how we wanted ourselves to be able to grow with it. And from the first episode that was taped back in March, this was like right before March Madness began, we, to like where we are now, we look at it and we're like, wow, we've grown so much. And just the way that we talk about sports, the way that we articulate ourselves, and like we're both really glad that we did it, because it's something that we can put on our resumes. It's something we could turn into a reel. It's something that is ours. Like it's something that we really put in the work to do, to take a step towards our ultimate goal, because jobs in this industry are hard. They're hard. So sometimes you have to create it for yourself. And I'm really glad that we did that.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like nowadays it's all about like kind of like creating your own lane versus trying to like get into somebody else's. So I applaud you on that.
Thank you.
So with you moving, that mean that Down to the Wires, it's going to be finished?
So, as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be finished. But Chanel is originally from Connecticut. So, I'm trying to see if I can get her in the door. And she says she want to move back home anyways. So, if she go home, if she comes to Connecticut, then, yeah, we're picking it right back up.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Get your 90 days in. That way, or however many, like, you know, make sure you get your foot in the door, get nice and comfortable, and then be like, actually,
I know somebody else. Yeah.
Who is there like a referral process? Like
we have footage.
Exactly. Here's play the reel. Like that's dope. So you have Down to the Wire. Then you have The Girls Room, which
came first.
Yeah. And it's arguably a different medium. Topics and things like that. So like how did you come about to join that show? And also like what are like the benefits of like one versus the other? So like, you know, I'm not gonna say one's better than the other, but just like they both bring different things to the table.
So with TGR, with The Girls Room, it was my friend Jasmine Gillespie's idea. Like she made everything. She pulled us group of 8 girls together and asked me to be a part of it. And honestly, I was kind of surprised because I'm not funny. Like everybody else on the podcast is funny. Autumn might not be. Autumn is funny, but she's not like funny. But like Wawa, Helen, everybody, Talisha, everybody on The Girls Room is funny. And I was like, what is my role? And they were like, Courtney, you can't talk about sports on there. And I was like, so really, what is my role here? And then throughout kind of being on The Girls Room, I kind of found my niche is that I'm the unpopular opinion a lot of times. And it's not in the way of just like trying to be the unpopular opinion. I just usually think differently than everybody else on The Girls Room. That's just usually how it happens when we come down to topics. And I feel like I kind of have a unique point of view on The Girls Room because certain people, like I grew up in Frederick, Maryland. Most of everybody else is either from PG or Baltimore or Moco. So they kind of like all grew up with people that, you know, looked like them. I didn't really have that. So my way of viewing the world is kind of different than the way they see it. My way of even viewing our time at Towson is different because I kind of had to like integrate myself into the Black community at Towson. I didn't just start there with Black friends, which is what a lot of them did. So it was just kind of a growing experience of learning myself and finding my voice because especially The Girls Room is 8 girls. It's easy to kind of be the one pushed to the back. and like not say anything and just like let them take over the conversation. But I was able to kind of find like, okay, like this is where I have something to say. And throughout this time, I really didn't think anybody was ever going to ever see my side of anything. But I've had people reach out to me and be like, no, I'm really glad that you felt this way, because I thought I was the only person that felt this way. And I was like, well, I'm glad someone recognizes that you don't have to be a certain way. And this is no shade to any of the other girls, because they're great. Yeah. But sometimes they have differing opinions than the one that I have. And it's nice to know that there are other people that also have a differing of opinion and that they shouldn't be shamed for it.
Definitely. So...
Shouldn't be shamed for it.
Oh, goodness.
Oh. No, you should be ashamed of that goddamn tip. That was a terrible tip.
That was a terrible tip? That was an honest moment right there?
Start a journal together.
What? Well, why is that a terrible tip?
Because I can't... Because you don't like to write.
I do like to write.
Write what?
I write all the time. I have nothing but messages inside of my notes.
About what? Read one.
About everything.
Read one.
No, I'm not reading them. It's my personal journal.
Yeah, Iowa.
You just don't know me. That's why.
Oh my
you
goodness.
never told me that.
I shouldn't have to tell you that. You should know me.
That's not true. That's not true.
Anyway.
So, I'm not going to shame any further. Because that's wrong of me.
Yes, it is wrong of you.
Question then. What is one unpopular opinion that you had that you can like recall, if you can recall? Because I'm just curious about.
Okay.
Because
the one I get a lot of crap for, I'm not even gonna do the Beyonce one, because that would start a whole nother firestorm. And
no, let's hear
I
that
don't
one.
want. No, we're not doing that.
Can we hear two of them?
We're not doing that
Can we
today.
do two of them?
that's one of two rules in this podcast. There's no Beyonce slander. I tell my students that. I be like, "There's no Beyonce slander."
No,
in
and
this
I want
classroom.
Dani to still like me. So no, we're
She
not
still
even
like
gonna.
you?
We're not even gonna touch Beyonce.
I can pick up what she's putting down. I know where she's going with that one.
But
what's another one?
Okay, so we had an episode about first dates.
Okay.
And just like kind of dating in general. And I said on an episode that I went out on a first date, and the first date we did multiple activities and I paid for one of them by choice. Okay. The guy didn't ask me to, but like we went, we played mini golf and then we went to dinner, and I paid for mini golf and he paid for dinner. Okay. And I thought that was reasonable, and they were just like, oh my gosh, like you shouldn't, your bar is set so low, your standards are so low. And I was just like, y'all, like I just didn't think that it was I didn't think that it was a big deal. B,
it's
like
not.
I just feel like I don't, and for me personally, a lot of reason why I do it, or even if I'm going out on a date and it's just dinner or something, I'll take the tip. Like, I'll do that just so that I can either feel like I contributed, and like, this is no shade to the men's, but I have been on dates where men expected something in return, and I'm like,
that makes sense.
no. So at least if I contributed something, I don't feel right. Like you can't say that you
feel like you owed anything,
right? And because I really, really hate that feeling, especially because I know I have my own money. I can pay for the things I want to do. I'm not relying on you for this dinner. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with paying for it. And it's not like you're making me pay for it, being like, hey, so you try to split this check. Like, that's different than me offering to pay for part of our 2-part date. Yeah. But they didn't agree.
Oh, well, that's...
I like it. I think it's
so
dope.
I mean, I am probably very low maintenance, because what you sounded very reasonable to me. Like, that's some shit I would do. But it's been a very long time since I had a first date, so I feel like I don't know, like, so we went to our first date was dinner.
We went to the movies.
And we went
McDonald's.
to McDonald's. We were in high school, and
you didn't pay.
I didn't pay. As
exactly.
I'm saying. But the point is like, had I paid for McDonald's, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Like, I don't think I would have let you pay though.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like he honestly, he did kind of try and stop me too, but I was just like, it's cool, like I got it.
Nah, like, I'd have been like, I'd have been like, when we go out another time, you could pay or something. I don't know, because I wouldn't want you to think that like I expect you to pay for stuff. And I think that's kind of, like our societal norms that, know, women aren't supposed to pay for anything. But then it's kind of like, what I mean? Like, if you're a man and you allow a woman to pay for something, you're not a good man.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case.
No, and I don't think it is either. I don't know. I'm all about, equality. And I mean, granted, I like chivalry. I definitely want to be wooed.
Yeah.
But, like, I have no problem, like, making things fair and making things, like, splitting things.
But it makes, I mean,
stuff like that.
I agree.
With your example, it makes sense. Like, if you paid for something, then he can't hold that over your head, or he can't, you know what I mean? So I can understand
That's a very real,
that aspect. No,
yeah.
that's some real shit.
That's a very real perspective to have, and I think it's interesting to hear that, because again, like, and not to shade like you and I or anything like that, but like it's just been so long since we had like, and we were young, and we didn't have money, quote unquote, of our own anyway.
Oh, right. I had money.
It was but it was Laura and Terrence's. It wasn't.
No, I had
it wasn't
allowances.
Nigga, that's their money. Like, that's an allowance is money that you're allowed to have.
No, allowance mean that I had chores and I only got my money for doing my chores.
That's just called parenting. Like,
I guess.
So, point I'm trying to make though is
hater.
like, point I'm trying to make is that it's like, it's interesting and important to hear, because it's just not a thing that we go through anymore. We're like, you know, now it's just he and I. It's just like, oh, you got this. Oh, I got this one. Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like for the whole date, half the date, none of it. Like, whatever.
But I would teach Tatum to like hold your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like don't like.
Like I would never send Tatum on a date when she's 17 and not give her like money
Right.
Oh, nah.
to have with her, because like no, that's not happening.
Right.
And it's also like,
Or you know, she could pay her own bill. Like they don't have to. I mean, I just don't want. I don't want her to feel like she has to owe anybody anything, or feel like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got this. We're good. So,
yep. That's why it's important that your parents make sure that like they set the bar for like how you're supposed to be treated and so on and so forth. But so as we talked about and you know bigged up in the beginning, and you know you are en route to ESPN.
Yes.
Okay. And you're in this profession, right, where it's very few women, probably even less women of color. And you probably have had and will have uphill battles to face, trying to get your foot in the door, be a voice in the room that's heard. So, like, what have you done, or what, and like, or hope to do, like, as you like navigate these waters? Because you are not in like that's like good company in this field that you're going into, unlike other professions. So like, how do you start to kind of work your way through, and how have you handled it thus far?
So I'll say one of the biggest things for me is networking, because if you have someone that's kind of in your corner and will kind of like stick up for you, it does go a long way. While I was in college, I worked for Towson's athletic department, and that was probably one of the best learning experiences for me to really prepare myself for what I've gotten myself into. Because I started my junior year, I started working for the football team, and I was part of like the marketing division, but during football games, I used to have to break down and set up stuff. And then when I worked for the basketball team, I used to have to like coordinate stuff for them. And the guys weren't, you know, always the nicest. The other guys I even worked with in the department that weren't even athletes really used to like try and play me and make me seem like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I really had to learn, like, I have to be on it. I have no room for error. And especially like after grad, I made some great friends with Towson's basketball team, and I made some great friends on the football team that, you know, will still be like, nah, like chill on her, like she's actually good. Like, she knows what she's talking about. And I found that really helpful. But I really had to learn to be on my shit, like, at all times. And even, like, there was a situation with Cam from last season. And there was it was last season. There was a reporter after the game that asked him a question and mentioned something about a route. And he was like, Like, he kind of, like, smirked, like, laughed it off. It was like, it's interesting hearing routes come from you. And, like, although he didn't mean it, like, and I knew that he didn't mean it to be hurtful or disrespectful or anything like that, but it's just like, dang, man, like, she in the locker room, like, she finally made it. Like, this woman made it to being this reporter who's interviewing an ex-MVP of the league. And, like, he kind of laughed at her. And it was kind of disheartening for me, because I'm just like, dang, like, no matter what I do, like, somebody's gonna challenge me or challenge my knowledge of the sport, and that's
mansplain.
Right. And it's frustrating, but honestly, like, I've made some great great friends along the way. I still have the supervisor that I worked under for Towson Athletics. He was the assistant athletic director. I still communicate with him. I'm able to like, hey, like, how would you navigate this? Or how would you tell me to navigate this? I've met some great women in sports that have kind of told me, like, this is what you need to do to get the edge up. This is what you need to do to kind of get your foot in the door and be able to kind of follow the steps that they've laid. And like I was telling you guys earlier before we were recording, like, I have already had people try and get me networking with people that are already in Bristol, that are either blacks or women, or just trying to find a little group for me so that way I don't feel so alone when I'm up there. And it's so nice to know that there are good people that are going to try and look out for you, because this sports world, like, it really is, it's trying. And I know I still have a long way to go, but I feel like the things that I've learned thus far and the amount of work that I've put into this, that I know, like, nobody's ever you're not gonna test me. You're not gonna, like, I still have guys ask me whenever I tell them my favorite team is the Panthers, they'll be like, okay, well, who was the quarterback in 2007? And then when I say Jake Delhomme, they're like, oh wait, like, I didn't know you actually knew. Like, that's my team. Like, I'm not just saying this just to get attention, right? Yes. I actually know what I'm talking about. Like, I care about this.
Yeah, and it's such a, like, it's almost a little insulting. Like, I mean, because granted, I'd be somebody who, I'd be like, I like so-and-so, or I like this team, and then, like, I very surface level, or I don't even really have, like, I'm into having, like, favorite teams, like, I know anything, but it's kind of like that presumption that, like, oh, if a woman says she has a favorite team, it's because she either finds, like, a player attractive, or only the colors are pretty, or something like that. Like, not that she's, like, a serious fan is kind of, like I said, it's insulting. And that's, like, you have to, like, prove yourself over and over and over again. But that's why, it's important that people who look like you are in that world, so that way you can kind of, like, continue that shift where, like, women and women of color are represented and, like, are in the room being like, hey, y'all, I'm here. So, and I know my shit. So bring it. But,
how difficult is, or was it for you to stay and chase after your dream of getting to this?
Lord, I was actually telling somebody today, 2018 was a trying year. It was a good year, but it was a trying year because it was this year, for the first time in a long time, I felt like, is it worth it? Like, can I do this? Because through college, like, everything always became pretty easy for me. Like, my major, I was a journalism major. That was easy. Like, the work was a lot, but it was easy because I can do that. I could talk. I could write. Those are things that I've been doing forever. I got an internship with the athletic department. They loved me. I got an internship with Comcast in Baltimore and White Marsh. They loved me. I got internships with WBAL and WJZ. They loved me. And then after I graduated, like, nobody hired me. And I was like, ooh, okay.
I know that feeling.
So I went back to working at the grocery store across the street from my house. I worked at a Giant, and I worked in the deli.
It's a great chain.
It is. The discount was nice. And I was kind of like, okay, but I was still grinding. I got a part-time job in Virginia working at, like, an ESPN affiliate. And, like, it wasn't, doing what I wanted to do yet, but my foot was still in the door. And then in September of last year, I started working at where I work at now. I work at Voice of America in D.C. It's a news station, primarily does politics. And I love the people there. The people are great. The commute from Frederick is trash. Yes. And I do not like politics. And
it's
a hell of a time to be in a...
Do you drive, or do you
take the metro. Yeah, okay. I drive to Shady Grove, which some days is a 25-minute drive. Some days it's an hour.
So my best friend Eric, he lives in Frederick, and he always talks about, like, the commute
is horrible.
It is. It's really bad.
He said going is always easier, but coming home.
Oh my gosh,
it's
coming
like
home.
the worst.
I don't really work in rush hour. I usually work 10 to 6, so, like, I don't work in rush hour too much. But when I do, or if there's an accident, or if it's raining, or if it's snowing, it's terrible.
Or too sunny, or anything.
Oh, yeah. But after, honestly, like, I'll no lie, this was probably July. I looked at my parents and I was like, why didn't God just make me want to be an accountant? Because I was like, that is not a hard job. Well, it's hard because I can't do math, but like that's something that I know I would be able to get a job, and I know I'd be able to do well.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, Courtney, stop. Like, hey, you're only 2 years out of college. Like,
oh, you were 12, girl.
Yeah, like you've been working, you created your own stuff. And I talked with my mentor, and after talking with her, she had a lot of critiques for me, and it just she knew that I could do this, but she had so many critiques that for me, I was just like, man, maybe I'm just gonna go back to school to be an accountant. Like, I really sat down and told my parents, like, I need to figure out a new life goal, because maybe the sports thing is not it. Like, I have Down to the Wire, but maybe trying to continue this pursuit of sports just isn't it anymore. And like, I prayed on it real hard, because I'm just like, why did God give me this passion if it's gonna be so hard and if it's not gonna work? Like, and then I applied for this job with ESPN in September, and the same way I've applied for every other job with ESPN I've ever applied to. And then they called me, and I was like, what? Like, is this is real? Like, this is real.
Yeah.
And then they did a phone interview, and they were like, okay, we want to set you up on a Skype interview. Did the Skype interview. Then they're like, okay, we want to fly you out to Bristol and meet you and do a group interview. They did that. And then 3 days later, they told me I was the first person they called back. And I was just like, man.
That is
like,
amazing. And like, I say this for you, like, being only 2 years out of college, like, you are ahead of the fucking curve. Like, so be very, very, very proud of yourself.
Thank
because
you.
like, you have people out there who are still searching, who are still passionate about something, but like can't get into. And like, honestly, I don't even know which one is worse, because it's like, you've got the people who like know what they want to do and can't like get there, and then you have the people who don't even still know what the purpose is, and you've like kind of done both already. And it could be the, you know, the sign of things to come. You know, it took me like a couple of jobs and kind of a very big push from TJ to get into education.
You're welcome.
And this is why I shade you, because you can't even be a gracious recipient of a
I'm
compliment.
being gracious.
Shh.
Good assist. See, that assistant, that wasn't a turnover. Go ahead.
I'm busy and talking to our guest. So, you know, and then I got into education, and, you know, I was resistant to it because everybody in my family was kind of an educator. I didn't want to feel like I was just doing the family thing. But it is a passion of mine. I do love working with children, even though they make me crazy, and it's a whole lot of stuff. But, excuse me, it still takes time. And, like, you're, like, but then, like, don't be surprised if, like, that quarter life crisis thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's so real, girl. I had it too. It's super real, but you will get through it. And the best thing about it is, like, you're getting in at this time, so now you can, like, really, like, you have nothing holding you back. And that is a beautiful place to be, when there is not anything tying you down, and you can just kind of go full steam ahead. That's what you're supposed to do. And I'm saying all to say, like, it's just like, you know that, like, everybody's not afforded that, and that privilege or that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, own it. And I know I'm not saying I haven't, but, like, it's amazing. Like, it's such a good thing. So I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And so when I talk about nothing holding you back, actually kind of good segue to our next question, because this is a relationship podcast.
Of course.
And we talk about all the ships, the marriages, the relationships, the friendships, the kinships. You know, where, if at all, does a relationship fall on your list these days? Is it all the way at the bottom, or is it like 2 from the top? I don't know. So where does it fall these days?
So, growing up, I always wanted a boyfriend. And then, you know, like, I got to college and I explored life, and, you know, still didn't have no boyfriend, but it was fine. But, like, I still kind of had a goal where I wanted to be married by this age and have kids by this age. And I've definitely restructured that a lot.
Yeah, you got to throw that out the window.
I do still kind of I have a mini timeline, but the timeline isn't as strict. It's like, there's flexible. Like loose, yes, I would like to be married by like 28, 29. And I would preferably like to be done my kids by 35. I think, you know, if that doesn't go according to that plan, it's fine. Like, right now where I am, I would, like, I'm definitely open to being in a relationship. Like, I'm not taking anything off the table if I meet someone nice that, wants to be with me and understands that I'm going to work a crazy schedule. My schedule is going to be poop, but is willing to, like, deal with it and deal with me and has, patience and also, like, has something going for him as well. Like, definitely open to it. I will say, like, right now it's not, like, my top priority just because, like, I just feel like my life is in limbo. Like, I'm doing so many things right now and nothing is set in stone. Maybe I'll feel like a little bit calmed down once I have a place to live in Bristol. But like right now, I just feel like everything's kind of up in the air that, like, I'm okay where I am. Like, I have someone that, like, I'm like semi dealing with and, like, we like where we're at. So I'm like, he's not rushing me to do anything. I'm not rushing him to do anything. So, like, we're good. Yeah. I feel like everything is, like, falling into its place. Like, finally, I feel like within my relationships, within my friendships, within my career, like, everything is falling into place.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
I did a lot with my hands right there.
And that's okay. I am a hand talker as well.
So, hypothetically speaking, if you were in a relationship at the time of the job offer, would your answer have been the same?
Whew.
I know what your answer should be, but go ahead.
Whew. Honestly, I don't think there was any way I would pass up this opportunity.
Good answer.
And, like, for me, like, I'm not afraid of a long distance relationship. I'm not afraid of a long distance situationship. I don't, prefer them. Like, it's not like my goal, but like, I'm good at communicating. I'll text back. I answer the phone. So, like, I'm not, and there are things that, like, I'm not super pressed on. Like, I don't need to be up under you every minute of every day because, like, I am very busy. So, like, I'm okay with us having a little bit of space, but I wouldn't want to be with someone that would make me have to choose between the thing that I've always dreamt about being since I was a little kid, working for this company since I was 13. Like, I would hope that no one that loves me, that I love, would ever put me in a position to have to choose between them and this.
That is the best answer that you could, and that is the only right answer for that question. And because you never can't make a price to choose between, like, their dream and you. Like, you just can't. Like,
agreed.
Because the resentment is astounding. Did we ever have any of those moments? Like,
you wanted to be a Delta.
You are correct. He gave me the blues. He gave me the blues.
That's because I didn't know any better.
He didn't. And
I was also 16, 17, 18.
18, 19, 20. No, just saying. You were like 18 or 19.
I was
19, immature. So you were probably 18.
I was kind of immature, and I didn't know any better, and, we made it.
We did make it.
Yeah.
But
Danny gave me the ultimatum.
I did. I had to be like, I'm doing this with or without you.
So, oh, shit.
I was like,
I'm
going to rush. If they pick me, I'm doing it.
I just feel like that shouldn't be something that should be a deal breaker. Like,
I think maybe.
I think it was the unknown. Like, coming from New York, I didn't know anything about Greek life. I didn't, like, what is this?
Right.
You know? Yeah. And then my father was like, it's a legalized gang, and
oh no.
So I'm spitting his rhetoric.
No.
So
he's sending me articles.
About, no, not a legalized gang.
And I'm like,
but like, honestly, like, being Greek now and growing up in New York, I do say, like, I don't remember seeing Greeks out there.
No, it's not as prevalent.
I don't remember seeing, like, tags. So coming to Maryland, you see Greeks. Like, you're surrounded. I think anywhere but New York. Yeah. Honestly, you get to really see Greeks. Like, I'm not sure if you go further up north how it is, but I just know in New York it wasn't. Yeah. So for me, it was like, what is this? And I wasn't watching A Different World, so I wasn't seeing Greeks there. So it was just it was just totally new to me. So.
Yeah. But, But
we grew from that.
We did. But I'll say this is that, as a little mini kudos to myself, like, that's such a an age where like you very much will be like, oh, I do like my boyfriend, my girlfriend, you know. And so it took a lot. I was scared. Like I was just like, damn, I'm finna lose my boyfriend off of this, but I'm like, if I don't at least try, I'm gonna resent him and regret it for the rest of my life. And like,
but by you doing it, it also showed me how important it was to you and for you, and it made me say, okay, well, if this is that important to her, let me understand it. And, you know, and then I learned about Greek life, and then I got to actually see, you know, Greek life in its like rarest form, I would say, like in its real raw, because Dani's pro-fight was murdered, and the way that her pro-fights like went into like family mode, it was like, oh, this is really bigger than what we, you know, what everybody sees. Like they took over, you know, a mother lost her child, but she still had daughters, and to me that was the biggest thing that kind of stuck out to me. Like, oh, this is like Greek life should be bigger than what people make it.
Yeah.
Like, the letters are cool. Yeah, we have chants and stuff like that. And that's all people see. But people don't really see, like, the work that goes in it, you know, the actual relationships and bonds that you really build with people, and, like, how people really become your family.
Yeah. That's definitely. Because it's, I mean, just like your family, like, they're the family that you don't choose, so you got to make it work with the people that you're with, because it's very different, arguably very strong personalities, and you gotta make sure you got your voice in the room too. Like you said, like if like when you're in the girls' room, or you in the AKA room, or the Delta room, or the Alpha room, whatever, like you're just like, actually, like I have 2 cents I'd like to throw in the bucket as well, but we digress. So, you know, you kind of already touched on it, and even though you like kind of dating someone, but like what you kind of got into like what you need for a partner. But like if you had to give maybe like 3 to 5 things that you like look for in a partner. Now, granted, you are still young, you obviously have plenty of time, but like somebody that you could kind of see yourself going the distance with, so for a good long while. What does he have? Like, what 3 to 5 things he has?
Okay. He's driven, like has to have goals for his life, because I'm a very goal-oriented person. So you can't just be satisfied with sitting on a couch. Like, you have to have something that you've always wanted to do and be pursuing it. Second would probably have to be someone who can communicate well, because that's very important.
Super.
And, like, that's something that I'm just even learning myself, that like I'm the type of person that when I have an issue with my significant other, I don't ever express it. I just shut down, and like I just kind of like ignore it and like put on my happy face. But like that doesn't help anything. That doesn't solve anything, because at the end of the day, what you did still hurt my feelings, so I need to at least express it. Do I need to express it every time? Maybe no. But I need to, if something really significantly, like, I feel like impacted me, I need to express it and not just pretend like everything's okay, because that doesn't help anything. So you need to be communicative as well. 3, fine. You gotta be fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's fine now.
Whatever she wants to do.
I'm asking.
My friend. I mean, honestly, my friends say I have a type. I don't have a type.
So what's your type?
No,
exactly.
They always get on me because I talk to yellow niggas, but I don't. I really talk to chocolate. I talk to caramel. I talk to everything. Like, really, I really like dope with the rainbow. I really have no preference.
So you like Drake? Like, color?
See, I'm like Odell Beckham. Like, that's big. Chris Brown. Like, I will say, like,
I
like a lot of light skinned niggas, but I don't just like light skinned niggas. And that's the difference.
You know, and I always feel like that. You know, and that's fair. I feel like people who are my complexion, who are like of that light skinned family, I don't ever see it for no light skinned guy. I'm always like, even, you know, obviously TJ's brown, so, you know, but I just. They don't.
Honestly, there's not too many like light skinned couples. Like, usually
just
somebody. Yeah, usually somebody
Boris
likes
Kojo.
Boris. I don't think Boris Kojo is necessarily like. See, but
he's
now
light skinned.
he's darker than me, so he's not light skinned to me.
What?
You think he's the same complexion as
He's
me?
light skinned. Him and Nicole are
Nicole is
Yeah.
light skinned.
They're
She and I have the
both
same
light
complexion.
skinned.
I think he's light skinned.
See, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Perception is reality, because when you're this far onto this, like Tatum is gonna think everybody's dark.
This is not
skinned.
light skinned.
I mean, he's darker than me.
He's kind of caramel.
He's caramel. I give him that.
Yeah.
I got you. Anyway.
Yeah, Tatum's gonna bring home somebody like midnight complexion, because she's gonna be, she's so fair skinned. I just knew I was gonna get me like a little like caramel baby. I was like, okay, if I'm light and he's brown, we're gonna break even with caramel. Somehow
No, it
I
don't
got
work that
white
way.
chocolate. I got
Yeah.
like the little lightest baby ever, but you know that's all good.
Yeah.
But that's important. I think Gabe named very like, yes, you should be attracted to them. He said driven and then communicative, all very important things. Especially at this stage in your life, like, you know, because everybody's not, by no means is anybody necessarily there yet, like wherever there is in their careers or where they're like, but if they're actively working towards it, you can't be mad at that.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Can you date someone who doesn't know sports?
You know, I had a situation like this a couple months ago, and no, I can't. And like, I hate that, like that's like how I am, but like it's not the only thing about me by far. Like, there's a million other things that I like to do other than watch sports, but it is something that like I get a kick out of. Like Sundays in my house, Thanksgiving in my house, Sundays in my house, football all day. And like, honestly, I prefer, like, granted, I love other Carolina fans, because like we have that camaraderie, but like I really hate the Redskins, so I like being friends with Redskins fans because we go back and forth. I like being friends. I hate the Patriots. I like going back and forth with them. I hate the Falcons. I like going back and forth with them. So like I want to be able to talk with you. I want to be able to get a rise out of you. I want you to be right. Like, that is fun for me.
What if they were willing to learn sports?
Oh, then yeah, sure.
All right, and what if they hate football?
I mean, like, once again, like, I dealt with that, and like I just was kind of like, oh, like,
This is gonna
Because I hate football, personally.
But you don't hate football.
I don't. Well, if I had to choose, I'm not choosing football.
yeah,
NBA.
that's okay.
No, but I'm asking. She may find someone who doesn't like football, but they love basketball.
Yeah. I mean, well, you gotta be. You might not. You can't hate it. You have to at least be willing to watch it, because I'm gonna be watching it on Sundays, and then like I'm gonna be raising my kids to watch it on Sundays. Like, so we gotta do. I would still like it to be something we do as a family. Like, I don't personally, love hockey or love soccer, but if you love hockey or you love soccer, like, I'm gonna watch it with you.
So you gotta be willing to compromise.
So the person has
sense.
to have more, like, at least an appreciation for at least a sport. Like, not from somebody who think, like, I think organized sports is a waste of time and demand and consumerism. Okay, got you. So that's fair, because you
that's gonna be hard.
You might be watching tennis or badminton or curling.
Yeah,
but
I'll watch tennis.
I like curling.
You like curling?
I do.
Like, when Olympics come on, I'll watch the Olympics. I mean, that's a multitude of sports.
Oh yeah.
Hockey.
I hear hockey games are fun.
I've gotten into hockey, and it is
I heard
fun.
they're better in person.
Yeah, I've heard that
in
too.
person, it's like out of this world.
Like
Baseball, I'm only
paid to
watching
fight.
like in the playoffs.
Even baseball, even in the playoffs, like, if it's anything like whatever Red Sox game that
I'm, like,
was, and went like
super
14
competitive.
innings, that's long.
I'm super competitive, so I like down to the wire. Like,
Yes, that's what I like.
Yeah, I don't do well with that.
I don't have to watch regular season. I don't care about. I want to watch like
The playoffs.
the playoffs, the final. Like when it's like.
I mean, that's how, like, so my birthday is the beginning of April, and my older sister's birthday is the beginning of April also.
What's your sister's birthday?
I'm the 4th, she's the 8th.
You have my sister's birthday.
Yeah.
You stinking Aries. And Tatum's birthday is the 7th.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, y'all make me sick.
Yeah, we are great people.
Y'all are great people.
But when my dad found out the due dates of my sister and I, both times he said they're gonna mess up March Madness. But that's like our time in our house. Like, my family, we love March Madness, because that's honestly, I mean, college basketball is cool, but March Madness, there's nothing like it. Like, it's so much fun, so much fun. So I definitely get that playoff time is like more fun. But I don't know, I've, especially like this past Sunday, with all of these games coming down to overtime or down to the kicks to the last 30 seconds of the game, like, this is why I watch it, because this is fun.
Y'all enjoy that. It's a little stressful for me.
It's very stressful. Dani doesn't like.
I don't know.
She wants everyone to win.
Oh,
She's one of the people who's like, everybody get a trophy.
No, I'm not like everybody get a trophy.
Everybody gets
but
stickers.
I like because if it's two teams that are like I feel like are like on one hand, so like okay, put it like this. So when LeBron won the championship against Durant when he was still on OKC, right? That was like a thing, right? I am a LeBron fan, so I like LeBron on whatever team he's on. But at that time, it was like Kevin Durant's like first trip to the finals, so I felt bad because I'm like, like he worked so hard and blah blah blah. So now let me say this:
he didn't work that hard.
Shut up. But so like I was happy because my favorite player won, but I was sad because somebody who like OKC they were just like they had like they kind of like I guess a little bit like the underdogs at the time.
What you gonna do when Tatum plays?
I want to root for Tatum.
But what about the other team and it's their first time playing?
Okay, but like that is going to be different because now like my child is
yes,
involved.
you have a personal investment.
So I'm personally invested. So I want them to win. Now I would in those situations I would feel bad if it was like Tatum was on this like amazing powerhouse team and they like blew everybody out. Like it's like 60-2.
I'm not feeling that.
I would feel bad because I'm like okay, like it's
no.
So for me that feels like okay, you're like rubbing it in. Like okay, you're good. To me, sometimes it comes across as like poor sportsmanship. Like
I get it.
People run up the score.
Yeah, the Steelers dropped 50 on my team about 2 weeks ago, so I get it.
You don't stop playing though, like because if you say okay, let me take it easy, and then the team come back, then what?
I understand that, but my feeling though too.
Let
is
us beat
like,
you by 100, and then go ahead. You can go ahead.
But it's also to me, it's also a thing about like, is that really being like a gracious player? Like part of why sports is so embedded in our culture and in cultures across the world is because it teaches people how to conduct themselves in a group setting, how to be leaders, how to be followers, how to
be followers,
how to listen. Like you have like part of why they put
teach you how to be a team player, but I wouldn't say a follower. It doesn't teach you to say follow this person.
Not followers. Okay, so let me rephrase it. It doesn't teach you to be a follower, but it teaches you to
take direction
and to listen to direction and see that an outcome. It teaches people work ethic and how to stick to it and how to deal with wins and losses because that's life, right? It gives you many life lessons. But at the same time, no, if in any other realm in our life, would it be okay for you to like kind of like rub it in that you're like significantly better than somebody else?
There's a difference between rubbing it in and you're just continuing to play. Rubbing it in is like you're looking at them and you're talking trash and stuff like that. But if you're just playing and you're winning, like I don't think that's rubbing it in.
I feel like it's kind of like kicking a man when he's down a little bit. Like
I see both sides here.
If that's the case, then the team that's losing should say, "Listen, we forfeit." But then no one.
But they may not want to give up either. But I just think
so you can't have it both ways. You can't have it. They don't want to give up, but the other team shouldn't continue beating them.
They are, but you're already beating them. And I'm talking about like, okay, I'm not saying like,
if we have a 40-point lead in basketball, then yes.
And there's 2 minutes left in the game.
Relax. It's 2 minutes left in the game.
If it's 20 minutes left in the game, then no, I'm going to tell you to keep up the pressure.
So that's what I'm saying. It's different. If we're about 2 minutes left, all my starters are out. All the bench players on.
But then there's other people who are going to be like, no, we're going to just continue like shitting on somebody until the buzzer goes off or the whistle blows or whatever you want to call it. All I'm saying is
I think it depends on the team. I think it depends because if we have a rivalry, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm going to do it.
Okay, well,
but if it's not, then it's a little bit different. So like when my father is like a big,
super competitive.
Kill him, but Macaulay Culkin was playing in my brother's league, and the owner of the league wanted Macaulay Culkin, but like my father was supposed to be able to draft him, but whatever. So, and then with that, they made it like nobody can come to the games when Macaulay Culkin was playing because he was Macaulay Culkin. So my father was like, he doesn't touch the ball. That's why he told his team, he does not touch the ball. He doesn't score, and they shut him down. So,
I didn't even know
like
Macaulay
10-year-olds.
Culkin played sports.
I mean, he's from New York. Well, he lived in New York, so
Yeah,
it's
this
kind
is
of
like
like
the mid '90s.
Yeah.
So this is like the height of Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
I think he just played because that's what people
Try
did.
to like
Yeah.
do normal kid things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so
Well, and this is why, like I said, I'm not necessarily a true sports person because
No.
that stuff does make me feel bad, and I know it's like there's no bad hard feelings and stuff like that, but I do feel bad, and that's just how I feel sometimes. Now, when it comes to Tatum, of course I'm going to cheer for her team. I'm going to root for her, whatever she decides to do athletically, whatever. And I'm going to want her to win, but I'm also going to be like, not necessarily like destroy the other team.
I am. Every time.
Oh my god!
You're going for blood.
This is why you need two parents, not because anything. It's because you need balance.
You're
in
going
somebody's
for
opinion.
blood. You need to listen. When you're in a match, when you're doing things, it's okay to have a killer instinct. It's okay to go for blood there. And then once it's over, we could be friends again and all that. But if Tatum had a sibling she was playing against, if she had a best friend she was playing against, when the game is on, you're not friends. You destroy that person. And then once it's over,
When the game,
y'all are allowed to be as friendly as you want.
okay. I'll put a bow around it like this. So like this best friend analogy, right? So if Tatum's best friend is on the opposing team, right? What I'm gonna say is to Tatum is that when the game is on, she is no longer your best friend. She is your opponent. However, I am not going to say she is your enemy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She's your opponent, not
I think
your
it's
enemy.
more like it's like a saying. I'm not saying like elbow her. I'm not saying hurt her, but I'm saying
She said go for blood. Like I know not literal blood, but like
what I'm
still,
trying to say
you're
is like Russell
Play.
Westbrook.
Like, keep playing.
Have you
Play
ever seen
hard.
Russell Westbrook play?
yeah.
When he plays, he's only about the OKC. Anybody else do not matter. I don't care how friendly we are. I don't care that we played ball before. I'm going to kill you. And that's the mentality that people should have. Like, a lot of people want to be friends and they're not going to be like, oh, that's my friend, let me not lay up. No, they're going to throw it on you if they get the chance to. So, no, you kill them. And then after, we can go out and we can have a pizza party.
Every Aries I know is very competitive, so I'm sure Tatum will be pretty competitive.
She probably will be very competitive. My sister's competitive. Yeah, she will be competitive, but she might be a little bit my child too, which then like means that she no, in the sense that
You can be competitive and have a
she,
heart.
if she loses, she's gonna be like really fucking mad, like I would be, or something like that. So I don't know. This will be his domain, but
I mean, listen, I'm gonna teach you to be humble. I think when you're playing sport, you should always be humble. You shouldn't do things that are unsportsmanlike, 100%. But it's okay to have an edge. It's okay to feel like you're the best. It's okay to try to destroy people. I think that's make it competitive. Like when I'm playing video games, I'm trying to destroy you. If I'm playing you in basketball, I want to destroy you. I'm not doing it just cause.
Right? Yeah.
And, like,
No, I don't do anything
yeah.
just cause.
When
Like,
I'm playing
trying
Uno,
to win.
I'm
Yeah,
not like,
trying to win.
oh, Dani's there. Let me not. No, she's there.
You getting this
You gonna get
plus
these
4.
draw 8s. Like you gonna get all of these cards. So that's what I'm saying. But after, I'm gonna give you a kiss. I'm gonna say, hey, babe, I love you, and all other good stuff.
I don't
So,
want to fucking kiss.
see,
I don't want to kiss.
because you're a sore loser.
I need time. I need a minute.
You're a sore loser.
All right. Well, anyway, do we have any more questions for our lovely guests?
Well, we kind of answered it with will you continue doing Down to the Wire, and you answered that. What about the girls' room?
Yeah, so most likely my last Girls Room episode might be this upcoming week.
Okay.
I'm really sad because I'm gonna miss
and I can let
them.
you Skype in.
This is gonna be too hard. This is gonna be too hectic, but I'm gonna miss them so much because those are, I mean, half of them are my line sisters, and then the other half are my friends from Towson. So we've been doing this for about 2 years, and like I really do like our bond is great. It's
I'm gonna have to retire you.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna miss them a lot too. This is gonna be a big change for me.
Yeah. Shout out to you moving to Connecticut in December too.
Lord.
Girl.
I was really hoping they were going to start me like after the new year, but you know, I didn't get that lucky. So I don't know if I'm coming home for Christmas yet, but you know, if I do, I'm going into it going, I'm not going to be able to come home for Christmas and I'll have to work and it'll be okay and I'll be fine. And if I do get to come home, then I'm going to catch that flight, man. I will be on that flight back home, but
So
if not,
to end it with the last question, you're at ESPN now. What's the goal within the next 5 years?
Yeah. So I have set a little mini timeline for myself. Once again, it's flexible, but my position is production assistant. It's behind the camera, and I still have goals to be a reporter. I still want to be a sideline reporter. So I'm going to work for ESPN and give myself at least 3 years to come up with a really great reel, a really great way to sell myself. And then from there, try and go find a reporter job, a sports reporter job, I'm most likely going to have to start at a smaller market. So maybe like Savannah, Georgia, or Charlotte or Raleigh, or just somewhere that's kind of smaller, but then work my way back up to being in that major market, to covering Redskins if I decide to come back home. If I want to move to Atlanta, covering the Falcons, covering a major sport. But I'm going to take this little step forward. I'm going to have to take half a step back for a little bit just so I can get back into the reporting side. But then ultimately, I'm just going to keep trucking and get it together, because y'all gonna see my face on TV.
I cannot wait, and I'll be like, y'all, she sat here in front of us to interview her, so I mean, like, as long as you don't forget, I'm not saying
not.
Just, you know, like, we had her first, we talked to her when she was on her way up. So I mean, I think TJ and I wish you nothing but much success.
Thank you.
Because this is
Gonna do well.
it's just such an exciting time, and we already follow you on Instagram.
Keep your faith.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And like, it makes me very excited to see people who are like embarking on like the next step. It's like, it's all new and shiny and everything like that, and it's like, it just makes me really, really excited for you.
Thank you.
Because it's a really amazing feeling to know that, like, okay, this could be like the next step to like the next step to the next step to like what I really want to do. So
yeah, I think it's dope that you get the opportunity to chase your dreams. You know, a lot of people don't, or a lot of people would be like, you know, afraid, like, what, go to a different state. I don't, you know. So the fact that you got the opportunity, I think it's great, especially when you were worried and wasn't sure and you was thinking about just giving it all up. So I think it's awesome. I think you're gonna do fine.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much.
we appreciate you too, boo.
This is great.
So with that being said, we are going to go right ahead and start wrapping up this episode. But Courtney, let everybody know where they can find you and find episodes of Down to the Wire in the Girls Room. So let them know so they can catch up with those.
So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at CBSmitty94 on both of those. You can follow the Girls Room at The Girls Room, both on Instagram and Twitter. Down to the Wire is give me one sec, because I always mess this one up. So at @_2thewire_ on both Instagram and Twitter.
We'll be sure to put that in the
thank you.
the notes.
Yes, tag it. But you can find Down to the Wire on YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts and on not Spotify, SoundCloud. And then the Girls Room is also on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts as well.
Awesome.
Got it. Well, I think.
And you can find us at all the major, not major, but all the streaming websites.
Platforms.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple, Spotify,
Google.
You
Tune
name
in.
it. You name it. Oh, that was last week. That was Thanksgiving. Was last week. I was gonna be like, I got beans, greens, Smith. We got Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. I'm really bad.
You need to work on that.
Oh, yeah.
You can reach out to us on Twitter, mostly me, at Lovers Quarrel 7.
Yes, and you can follow us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show and email us with any questions, concerns, comments, or feedback at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. And yeah, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel. And as always, I am your girl, Dani.
And I'm your guy, TJ.
And you know that we fuss.
We fight, but we love.
Bye.
Later, y'all. I win.